I'm Nick Hermes, co-founder of Urban Stream Innovation, and we're standing right in front of our prototype, the Urban Microfarm.
I was a few years into my chemical engineering degree when I first saw an inconvenient truth, and it changed the way I saw the world and my own impact. Faced with job opportunities in the oil and gas industry, I set 3 life goals to guide me towards making a positive impact socially and environmentally. I set my sights on a lifetime goal of 3 million. Grow 1 million pounds of food, offset 1 million kilograms of carbon emissions, and donate $1 million. This sounded great, but it soon sank in how difficult this would be in a lifetime. It soon became apparent that I couldn't do this as an individual, but that I needed to create a business that's corporate mission was aligned with my own lofty goals.
I have great business partners and a wonderful board of advisors who bring a wealth of experience and knowledge to help us along the way.
I was in a coffee shop talking with a couple of my classmates about all my trials and errors of composting, and I just got a worm bin for my apartment. Nick came over and he said, I couldn't help but hear you talking about worms. We ended up having a conversation about what he was doing at Urban Stream and how he was closing the loop on food waste, and that's always been a big passion of mine, is how can we take resources that are seen as waste and turn them into something of value, and at the same time providing healthy, nutritious options for people. And so I just caught to the idea, and I've joined with Nick, and I started working and developing business plans, and we just went from there, and here we are today.
I met Nick when I was working for a community economic development agency in Vancouver's downtown east side, and it's a low-income neighborhood where we were really looking into the potential of green-collar jobs as a way of building up the local economy and also creating a more sustainable local economy. Nick and I were part of a group that was looking at aquaculture, or closed containment aquaculture, and we hit it off and stayed in touch ever since.
Businesses only succeed if they solve a problem, and so Urban Stream was created to change the way urban dwellers get their food, with a vision of locally grown food that is produced sustainably. While there are already amazing local growers in and around Vancouver, there is an unanswered problem with the resulting food waste that is ultimately produced, and we saw this as an opportunity. We decided to focus on restaurants because they are the movers and shakers that push new food trends and are also facing new bylaws to responsibly manage their organic waste.
We really like the approach that Nick was taking to help us recycle our compost and create a new way to have fresh food right at our back door.
I enjoy working with Urban Stream for the simple fact that as every chef grows up, he dreams of having his own garden in the backyard. Obviously, if you know anything about my hours, I have 0 time to do my own gardening. So to have somebody, a dedicated crew that comes in and grows exactly what I need, delivers it to my door every morning when I require it harvested, is pretty much the most brilliant concept that's ever existed.
The average restaurant buys produce from a couple suppliers who try to source local or sustainable options if the customer is willing to pay more. The suppliers aggregate the produce from many large farms that use a tremendous amount of virgin resources to grow and then deliver it to the customer by truck several times per week. Along the supply chain, some of the food is lost to spoilage and is already less fresh by the time it gets to the restaurant. It may sit there for a few more days and a bit more is lost to spoilage. By the time it reaches the plate, 40 to 60% of all the food grown is lost as waste that needs to be hauled away by another truck before it starts to stink and attract pests. A waste truck picks it up several times a week to haul it out of the city, usually to a landfill. Our food system is incredibly good at turning petroleum products and vast amounts of water into food, which requires even more virgin resources just to get to the customer, just to ultimately end up being turned into landfill gases when the industrial food chain ends.
So when I think about the historical context of food and all the celebrations that occur at harvest time, food is more than just about nourishment for the body. It's about building communities. And so I think at Urban Stream, we're building communities for the future. And so I see every apartment, every restaurant, every hotel growing its own food sustainably. I see people coming in and trading compost for food.
I'm really excited to be contributing to a sea change in the way that we're thinking about the food system in cities. I'm an urban geographer by background, by education background, and so I'm very keenly interested in how cities have developed over time, the systems or processes that have contributed to that, and where cities are going. And I think that the food system is one area where we're seeing a lot of innovation, whether that be technological innovation or social innovation. And UrbanStream is one of those companies in Vancouver, which is a great city for this right now, that I think has a lot of potential.
We saw opportunity in closing this loop. What if we grew more food in the city? Especially the food that needs to be the freshest and therefore ordered most often. How do we grow this food in a sustainable manner? And what about the food waste problem? We envision a sort of black box that could produce ultra-local greens and also take in the leftover food waste and deal with it in a responsible way. Taking from my years growing up in a gardening hippie family and studying compost technology in school, it soon became apparent that what we needed was to put an organic farm in a box, where nutrients are obtained from the finished compost. It makes so much sense when you think about it. A wilted, shriveled apple contains the perfect ratio of nutrients to ultimately grow another apple.
One of the other benefits of having something like an UrbanStream in your back is, for me, I've bought all my containers. Nick comes in, he gets my containers, he washes the herbs, he puts them in, he drops them in my walk-in. I don't have to receive an order, I don't have to break down, I don't have excess packaging to deal with. And it's smoother and more environmentally friendly. And as chefs, I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. We work in probably one of the most unfriendly environmental businesses in the world. I mean, so anything we can do just to contribute is what we should be doing for the planet. Because frankly, we need the planet. All of our food gets grown on the planet.
Flash forward a few years worth of patent applications, research grants, venture challenges, and support from friends and family, and lots of trial and error. We bring you the Urban Microfarm. Our food growing system is coupled with our composting bioreactor that is housed inside a repurposed shipping container that is retrofitted with a greenhouse roof and insulated. Taking up a space 8 feet by 20, it fits inside a regular parking spot and is incredibly sturdy, mobile, and modular. Our prototype microfarm sits in the parking lot of a restaurant, where it composts all of their organics, saving them hundreds every month. Our system recovers maximum nutrients and heat from the compost to grow fresh and sustainable greens and mushrooms right on site for the restaurant. They get cost savings on the waste side, a better product, and a story to tell about the food that they put out, and fewer trucks coming and going. And I personally get a little closer to achieving my goals.
In creating more sustainable food, we're creating more sustainable communities. And this is a movement, so we need you to join this movement and support our campaign.
We have so much interest from restaurants in the community to build another one, but we can't do it alone. We're going to raise $15,000 to build another one here in Vancouver, and it's going to be able to grow even more food than the one right here. We're going to grow so much amazing food that we want to share it with all of you.
When you contribute to our project, those dollars go to help us build the next microfarm. And for that, we want to reward you with fresh, sustainable, ultra-local greens and mushrooms. A $100 contribution up front helps us to reach our goal to grow. And you'll get $100 worth of fresh produce grown in that very microfarm that you help to fund. So, whether you work in a restaurant or you want to be a part of this movement, or you just love great food, we invite you to be a part of UrbanStream's story and enjoy some of the fruits or veggies of our labor. For more information, visit our campaign page, where you can see all the different perks we offer based on the different contribution levels.